Okay, so hey, I'm Sloth Dad. You see that sign? It says Sloth right there. That's me. This bike rack, it's called the Ride KAC. And okay, so yeah, I'm Sloth Dad. I'm a dad who loves finding products that just makes life a little bit easier without breaking the bank or requiring a whole lot of effort. So today I'm reviewing the KAC Bike Rack for 2 bikes. I picked this one up because the person that I got my bike from recommended it. It solves the problem of transporting bikes pretty affordably and even has a few nice features. So let's check it out. A couple of things I want to point out. Down at the bottom here, there's a lock for the hitch. It is hitch mounted. And then right here, there's a button. Right here, there's a button to get the arm up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll actually push it up first and then pull it down. And then you can kind of see the few positions that it's in. Okay. Okay, so the KAC Bike Rack is just a basic, reliable bike rack for the, what I would say is the average rider. So who just needs to transport like 1 or 2 bikes. My SUV, as you can see, I can open it up and I usually put one of the kids' bikes in there as well. So I went for the 2 bike model so that I can haul my bike. Sometimes it's going to be my older kid's bike or a friend or family member's bike. Main thing that I'm looking for is the security and the ease of use. And could it be even simpler? Sure, it could be simpler, but at the end of the day, it's a bike rack. At the end of the day, it's a bike rack, so I needed to get bikes from point A to point B safely without the hassle. All right, so here are some pros and cons after using this bike for a year. Actually, let's go over this really quickly. So put wheel, these are adjustable. These can turn and you can move these. And then the same thing for this top. For your frame, you turn these. It's also where the lock is. We'll probably talk about that here in a second. Up here as well. And then down here, we've got Velcro that you'll strap around the wheel. I'll show that here in a second. So pros and cons. It's easy to use even on a busy day. I can load it up without any fuss. It holds 2 bikes securely, which has been great for family rides and or riding with friends. It's modular, meaning that these can move. So nothing can move off, but I can take a children's bike or I can take a larger bike. Okay, some cons. So the Velcro, there's some that have a ratchet system, so the ratchet system's a little bit better. So I think that could be a area that could be a little bit better for use. Velcro also caused another problem for me, which is that I got lazy with it. And so I forgot to put the Velcro on, and you'll see when I load up the other bike, what happened because of the Velcro. The rack itself was great. It was just user error. Okay, so in everyday situations, it's easy to set up. There are 2 bikes on it, but I do think there's room for some improvement, especially with Velcro straps. Some quirks and features. I like that this folds. It folds either way, so you're not in any rush. It makes it easy to just kind of fold down. Also, it's adjustable for different bike sizes. like I said with the kids' bikes. So from a dad perspective, this rack has been a solid value add. I'm about all those little extras that save time and make things easier. Over the past year, it's helped me load up for rides with my kids, family, and friends without any issues. I definitely keep using it, and unless I was transporting 2 bikes at a time or more, it has everything that I need. I might upgrade one day, but that would mean that I'm putting 3 bikes or more on there. So I think just overall, I want to talk about how well of a product this is. And then, just one thing to note is that you should just always follow the directions. Part of the reason why anything even happened that is the reason why I'm even making this video is just for the mere fact that I didn't follow directions. So what you're going to see up next is me loading the bike onto the rack. So I took the bike that actually was on the crash. You can see I just pick it up. I put the wheels into the wheel slots, and then from there I lift up the post in the middle so that I can tighten it down onto the top tube there. Usually the adjustment's a little bit finicky if you don't have it right, but you saw that took me a second there. And then over here, you gotta make sure that you do the Velcro. It really does not take that long of a time. And I think because of the school playground and the playground down the street, I was just quick to just skip it. And then on this specific mountain bike ride, which was further away, ran into a bigger problem. But yeah, take a look at that. Bike is on the rack. Yeah, so if you forget to put the straps on, here's what could happen. A little bit of damage here. Some damage here. But it's a story for another day if you guys want it. Okay, so I wanted to show this opening up. Now, if you imagine a second bike being here, I can guarantee tell you 2 bikes can be on here, and depending on your car and depending on the height, I imagine, of your bike, this one sits out pretty far back enough, but the lift gate will open up, no problems. And the other thing that I also kind of wanted to point out is that when we're loading bikes up, depending on your bikes and the way your handlebars sit, you have the option of, let's push this bad boy back up. So I do like that the wheel wells are set up the way they are, because you have an easy way of putting the bike in whichever direction you want to. Whereas with some, you have the wheel wells in the same spot, so the bikes almost have to sit the same way. Okay, well, that has been another Lazy Dad review. We can get back to that in a second. With this rack, security is an important thing, so we have to talk about the security aspect of it. Oh, keys fell. And okay, so security is an aspect of it. So interesting mechanism, and obviously possibly a flaw if we're not talking about some kind of more serious locking. But the locking here works like this, similar to what's down there. You come in here, and by locking it, you're essentially turning this into free rotate, and you are not able to unscrew. You don't want to lose these keys. It's probably a bad idea to have them on the same one. But yeah, that's that. Okay, so you can see what happened. So basically, the bike rack comes with these straps. You can see that the wheelbase here, my other bike has a little bit of a shorter wheelbase. The wheelbase here, I can adjust right here. I can bring it in. Voila. Okay. Okay, so once your bike is seated into both of the wheel wells, the one thing that you have to make sure is that this is pushed down as much as possible and you can tighten it. Now the one flaw I would say, but really, a lazy approach is part of the problem here. In the directions, it'll tell you use Velcro. Velcro is can be extremely usable. In the directions, it'll say you have to use the Velcro. And if you look at it, if you're driving around, the bike can jump up and down. If you look, there's going to be some movement. And the problem here and the flaw is that if this isn't tightened all the way, for example, or if you've got two bikes on, and again, if the Velcro straps aren't being used, then you've got two bikes that are bouncing and pushing up at this piece right here. So in my specific scenario, the one thing that I forgot to do was Velcro in the wheels, which would keep it more locked in, so much to the point that there wouldn't be enough of a bounce. And if you look right now, nothing could really happen. But what had happened, if I can loosen this up here, is that on my drive, this was slowly moving up and up, eventually to a point where the bike could essentially slip out. And once it slipped out, it's not being held by anything, game over, one more good bounce, and just like that, the bike falls off. Now, that is in no fault due to the bike rack creator. It's not the manufacturer's fault because the systems are in place so that nothing would happen. And a little bit of damage. We haven't fixed the bike yet, but you can tell handlebars a little bit messed up. We've got some scratches going on here. We've got some shift, actually I think in this case brake cable that has come out and probably leaked all the fluid. Overall, not a lot of damage. I don't think there was much, if any, damage over here. Our seat got pretty torn up, but who uses a seat anyway, right? Might still use that seat. Everything else seems to be fine. We haven't gotten the derailleur checked. For the most part, you can kind of see that it took a hit mostly on this side, but I wish I had video of it. But the bike just tumbled. Luckily it didn't get run over. Luckily it didn't run into someone else's car, and the rack did what the rack is supposed to do. Now, since I've gotten this rack, the one thing that I will point out is that I can still access my trunk, and I actually want to, when we fold this down here, I'm way too trusting even now, but if I hold the bike and pull it down, there we go. So when we fold it down here, you can see that the lift gate can still come up, and there have been often times where I'll take the bike with me and then I have to have the lift gate pulled up. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this review of the KAC Bike Rack. While I'm wrapping up here, here's a couple of shots for the mountain bike ride that I went on to. Conveniently, it's also where I had my last mountain bike fall off. But anyways, if you like this review, please leave a comment, hit the like button, and subscribe. I'd love to continue doing more of these reviews where I just give my honest review and thought on it, just from like an average consumer perspective too. I think there's a lot of value in just using something every day from someone that can be trusted. Thanks. Take care. See you soon.